Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Faizan Ali Software Wala, everyone's student at Internationl School Istanbul campus. Welcome to another inspiring episode. Today we are honored to welcome dear Madelaine Gomes, and International Woman of Courage, Keynote Speaker, author, trauma-informed counselor, and spiritual mentor dedicated to helping people heal, transform, and discover their true purpose. With expertise in neuroscience-informed healing, metaphysical science, trauma recovery, and soul-centered guidance. Madelaine has inspired individuals and organizations around the world to move from surviving to their thriving. So, first of all, welcome to the show. So, can you please introduce yourselves to our viewers, please?
Thank you so much, Faizan. Is it Faizan? Faizan? How do you say your name?
Faizan.
I'm a doctor of metaphysical science, and I work primarily with trauma healing, mindset renewal, and renewal of life, starting life again, finding purpose and starting life again. So I've been doing this for the last 10 years. And before that, I was a director of a company, running my own company, developing the unemployed into winning workforces when trauma happened to me and changed my career in what I'm doing today.
That's really too great introduction. I really like your introduction. So what inspired you to dedicate your life to healing and helping others?
Well, I went on a journey myself. I became a victim of organized crime at one stage, and I lost everything. And I had nobody to assist me. I had nobody that supported me. I was on my own. People didn't understand what I was going through. And at that time, there was no trauma healing. So they didn't understand really what to do with me. And I started to study this because I wanted to understand it, what's going on in my mind and my body, what's holding me back, and how can I help others. And that's how I started.
That's really great. Okay, so was there a defining moment that changed the direction of your life?
Sorry?
Was there a defining moment that changed the direction of your life?
That was the defining moment, is when I became a victim of organized crime. I realized that I cannot run the business anymore. It was too dangerous. And I was in trauma at that moment, and that catapulted me into healing and transformation.
Okay. So who has been the biggest inspiration in your personal and professional journey?
My biggest inspiring person is Dr. Joe Dispenza. Becoming supernatural. When I was very down and very traumatized, I listened to him, and that started my process of, okay, there's hope for me. I just need to renew my mind. So I looked into that, and that inspired me.
Okay, that's really great. So my next question from you is that what challenges have shaped you into the person you are today?
Well, I've lost everything, and I realized that we built our lives through trying to be successful, and we built our personalities around that instead of just becoming who we are supposed to be. And so I've learned so much on my journey. I can write many books about it. We think we are the one, but we are actually the other. And we are caught up in limited beliefs and program of the mind until we realize that, and we actually become free of that, and we can become whoever we want to be.
Okay. So what challenges? How would you describe your life mission in today's world?
My life's mission is always to assist people if they are stuck to get unstuck, and to show them how to get onto the journey of rediscovering themselves, healing themselves, inner transformation, and human flourishing. And I would like to open a university that teaches various courses to entrepreneurs and to whoever wants to learn more about neuroscience, business, leadership, and self-development, as well as opening a healing sanctuary for people to come to when they feel they've got nowhere else to go and they just need to reconnect with themselves.
Okay, that's
one day when I have the money.
Okay. What motivates you to continue serving people around the world?
What motivates me is my passion. I'm passionate about what I'm doing. And then also seeing the light and the joy on their faces.
Okay, great. So what does true healing mean to you?
I couldn't hear that.
What does true healing mean to you?
True healing means where you feel the inner peace and you feel unattached to all the troubles and everything that's going on outside in the world. It cannot affect you anymore. So you are totally healed. Your past is not your enemy anymore. You make friends with your past. You use it and you utilize it for wisdom. You move forward, you move on, and your body starts to heal from all that was going on inside of it, and you become whole again. And that inner peace is, to me, is equal to true healing, mind, body, and soul.
Okay, nice. So how do you define success? How can I achieve I and our viewers achieve success in our life?
Success is, to me, is being happy with yourself. Happy with who you are, what you do, being on purpose, and just have that total inner peace within you. To me, that's achieving success, because when you're happy with yourself, you have the inner peace, you can achieve anything you want.
Okay, that's really great. So what advice would you give to your younger self?
I would to my younger self say, listen more to your intuition. It's never wrong. The inner voice that warns you and that says, be careful here, look out there. Every mistake I made in my life or that led to trauma was I wasn't listening to my inner voice. So we already have the intelligent system within us. Use it, listen to it, follow it without asking questions.
Okay, great. So what inspired you to create a sanctuary for renewal?
I am busy with the sanctuary at the moment. I'm busy with negotiations, and we are in the process of looking at the space and finishing it and so on. So what inspired me is, instead of doing online healing sessions, is to bring people into a holistic space where they can actually feel nurtured, they can let go, they can relax, they can find healing there, and run my own networking and circles in my own sanctuary. So that inspired me to get the space and start that.
Great. So what is the mission behind your organization?
My mission is to help as many people as possible around the world to basically connect with themselves, have a positive mindset, heal their trauma. We all have trauma. Or everyone in the world experiences trauma. But if we're not careful, we become the trauma. So my mission for the future is to teach people how not to become the trauma, but to become the better version of themselves.
Okay. So my next question, how do you help people recover from trauma?
You identify the root of trauma, because if you don't identify the root of trauma, you cannot change anything. And then once you identify the root of the trauma that is holding them back, you can turn that into a positive. Once you've turned that pain into a positive and a purpose, in other words, you harvest the wisdom, then you start to heal trauma, because the subconscious mind starts to see the positive instead of the negative.
Okay. So my next question, what are the first steps towards emotional healing?
Emotional healing.
Yes.
Emotional healing is very important because we make decisions through our emotions. We build relationships through our emotions. So our emotions affect our mind, body, and soul. If your emotions are toxic, they're negative, they're unforgiving, they're resentful, they're bitter, then that's affecting your relationships because you're going to be angry, bitter, and resentful in your relationships. And it's also going to affect your body, your health, your mind, your soul, everything. So, emotional intelligence is extremely important because it changes how we react and act in situations. So we exit the loop when we take a pause and we don't just react. And that is emotional intelligence. Is you remove yourself, you look at it from a different angle, a different view, and you react differently. You're not stepping into it and become part of it.
Great. So, why do so many people struggle to heal from emotional pain?
Because of anger. A lot of people carries anger, resentment, and bitterness in their hearts. Once that is in the heart, it blocks everything. It blocks your relationships, it blocks your career, it blocks your mind because it's all connected. It blocks how you act and react, how you speak, because your voice comes through your heart, right? So what's in the heart, the Bible says what's in the heart, so we are. And
Yeah,
that's why it's important.
exactly. That's a really good answer. So, how can someone begin rebuilding their life after trauma?
First of all, they need to change what happened to them into a different story. We all tend to look at it from the victim story, and I know some stories are very bad. I'm not dismissing that. And I've worked with terrible stories. But we have to change the story and ask ourselves, what did we learn from this experience? What wisdom did it teach us from this experience? What can I take from it in a positive light that's building my character, resilience, inner strength, wisdom, and moving forward? Instead of having the blame, the shame, the anger, the resentment, because that is going to build your character going forward.
Okay, I have a good question like that. How would you describe yourself in 3 words?
Mm. I'm a compassionate healer.
Great. So, what are the biggest misconceptions about people about mental wellness? So,
A misconception about mental health is that people need pills and potions to heal that. I don't believe so. I believe if you know what is the root of the problem, it's all in the mind. When we change how the mind sees what's upsetting us, we change and we heal through that. So the heart, if you heal the heart and you transform the mind, you can heal anything. So the biggest misconception about mental unwellness is that people think it's permanent. It's not permanent. It's just attached to something that needs healing within us.
okay. So, how do you help people rediscover their purpose?
I make them do an exercise that I designed many years ago because your purpose is already in you. But you need to unleash that. You need to look at what's your strengths, what's your skills, what's your passions. And once you've got that on a list, as you look at all of that and create a statement for yourself. You know, I'm a compassionate healer and teacher, transforming lives right globally. And you can carry on like that. See, I know my purpose is teaching, healing, whatever I do, whether it's in leadership, whether it's into the youth, whether it's to women, it doesn't matter. That's my purpose. So you need to find your purpose to define who you become, because your purpose is like a goal, a vision, and it pulls you forward. And then people can say what they like about you. You are not going to fall down and become a victim of that, because you know that this is your purpose, like it or leave it, you know. So I've got a beautiful exercise that I let my clients do to discover their purpose.
That's really great answer. So you combine neuroscience with spiritual guidance.
Yeah.
So how do these two areas work together?
Spiritual, when you read the Quran, or when you read the Bible, or any spiritual book, or any book, and you take the information in, right? Some people take it in and recite it. They can say, but in that scripture, this and this and this, and the Bible says this and this, and the Quran says this. And I'm asking, can you apply it? Because if you cannot apply it to your mind, your body, and your soul, it just stays information. It doesn't become wisdom. And that's neuroscience. So when you read in the Bible, in 2 Corinthians, it talks about, if you do not renew your mind, you cannot become a new person, because you will always be in the old system, repeating cycles. My first question is, how do we renew our minds? That's neuroscience. So we have to find a way to implement what we read so that we can become that. Otherwise, it's just a waste.
Okay. So why is healing the mind, body, heart, and spirit so important?
It's very important because the mind creates your reality. So whatever you think, whatever you believe, you become. Whatever you think, whatever you believe, you speak. Whatever you think, whatever you believe, you feel. And all of that makes up a person. So you become what you believe, what you speak, what you feel, and it manifests into reality.
That's really great. So what does trauma do to the brain and emotions?
Trauma gives you a false sense of personality. So trauma might make you believe you're not good enough. Trauma might make you believe you're not loved. Trauma might make you believe that you have no future. My son and I spoke about it today. He had a conversation with somebody from a disadvantaged area this morning. And he was telling my son how much he drank over the weekend, all his money out. Now he can't pay rent. And now his girlfriend's cross with him. And it's just drama. And that is what trauma does. It causes a lot of drama. It causes a lot of very low vibrational feelings about yourself. You feel ashamed. He was feeling ashamed about himself this morning. So that's what trauma does to us. Then when we are disempowered and we feel ashamed, we feel like there's no hope out. So now it's going back to drinking. So it keeps you in the loop of trauma. But when you start to utilize the trauma and you alchemize it into wisdom and purpose, then you use the trauma actually as your superpower.
Okay. So how can people begin healing from the past experiences?
It's very, very simple. It's when you look at the past experience, what did it teach me? You know, when we look back, we can always connect the dots back. And when we look back, we realize, okay, I understand. I can see this. I can see where I've gone wrong. I can also see what I should have done. And I can also see how it served me going forward. When I went through my trauma, I thought this is the end of my world. I was depressed. I didn't want to live. I lost everything. Today, I'm looking back and I know if I stayed in my company before it became a target of the crime syndicate, if I stayed there, I would never have changed so many people's lives. I would never have written the programs and the books that I've done. I would never have spoken onto the stages in the world that I do. And I would never have met all the people that I meet. I would have still be stuck in my business and only focus on that. So I was taken out of that. Yes, not in the nicest way, but I also asked myself if there was a nice way, would I leave? And the answer is no, because you always think what you have is better than what you can't see in the future. So trauma can rob you of so many opportunities if you stay stuck in the trauma.
Okay. So what role does mindfulness play in recovery?
Sorry, I couldn't hear that. You disappeared.
Okay, I again repeat. What role does mindfulness play in recovery?
Huge. Mindfulness is extremely important, and also mind awareness. If you want to change your mind, you need to be aware of your thoughts. You need to grab those negative thoughts when they come up and say, no, no, no. How can I change this into a positive? What did this experience taught me that I was just thinking about now? Because every time you think about it, you recreate it. The mind doesn't know yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It gives you what you're thinking about. So mindfulness is extremely important in your healing process.
Okay, that's really great. So how can faith support emotional healing?
Emotional healing is by checking in with yourself, checking in how do you react towards other people, because that puts you in another loop. So ideally, emotionally, you want to get out of all loops and you want to take a step back so that you can make a better decision. You can look at the situation with a different view and not so emotionally about it, because not everything in life is about us. But we try emotionally, we make everything about us. So it's good to take a step back and say, whoa, what is the real situation here? So emotional healing is very important by understanding everything's not just about me. It might be you that's not feeling well today. And that's why you are screaming at me. So when a person screams at you and you turn around and say, why are you screaming at me, or why are you speaking to me? That creates a loop of the same. But if you turn around emotionally and you say to that person, how can I make you feel better for today? Because I can see that you are not well. Then immediately you're offering support. There's no anger in the situation and there's no loop. They can't pull you into their emotional story. And that's why emotional healing is so important.
Okay, that's really great answers. What are some healthy daily habits for mental wellness?
Daily habits is to check yourself on your beliefs, on the words that you speak when you speak to people. It's also for you to have that quiet time for yourself where you can refuel your body, reading or doing something that's important to you that makes you happy, makes you feel good, whether it's running, walking, going outside, spend 10 minutes with your friends having a coffee. Doesn't matter what it is, but do something daily that makes you happy instead of just existing or instead of just serving others, because you can't serve when you feel empty. So there's a whole list of daily habits that one can look at for people to refuel themselves.
Okay, so why is self-awareness is so important in our life?
Self-awareness. Self-awareness is important so that you can keep a check on you and you don't go back into your past programming and your subconscious mind where you just react. Self-awareness is, this is who I want to be, this is who I want to become, and you start to fill that vessel with that.
Okay, so did you have any last advice at the last? Would you have any advice for our viewers?
Yeah, for you people, you young people, you are standing at the edge of change in history. You are part of history that's changing. So it is an absolute beautiful position to be in. And you also have a lot of information available to you, knowledge available to you on how to become your future self and not repeat what you are seeing in the world now, because you are the future leaders. So if you can learn from the mistakes that the leaders now are making, and you can turn and change that into the future, you young people can change the world.
Okay, that's really too great interview, and thank you for giving me your precious time. So, viewer, this was our today's interview. I hope you like it. I meet new guests next day, next topic. Thank you, Allah.